See, I've gone ahead and finished up this welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be making a dress with a flare bottom. So guys, this is what the dress would look like. It's just one shoulder sleeve and then a flare bottom. So first I'm going to fold this fabric into two. So guys, the first thing I did is to fold this fabric into two, right, this way, and then using the widest part of the body, I checked the widest part is 42, which is the hip. So 42 by 4, that should be around 10.5, right? But then I added around 2 inches, so I'm working with 12.5 here, just so I can know the width of this part of the dress I'll be working with. First thing I'm going to do now, after folding the fabric and checking the width, I'm going to, if you're working this way and you figure that the person's bust is bigger than their hip, just fold enough surface that will be okay for you. So after folding this, the next thing is to check the shoulder, and the shoulder I'm working with is 15, right? So this 15, I'm going to subtract 1 inch from it, since what I'm making is a sleeveless top, a sleeveless dress. So 15 inches is the full shoulder. For the sleeveless dress, I'm going to subtract 1 inch. So if I remove the 1 inch, that will leave me with 14. So my mark will be at this 17 here, because the 14 that I have left, I divided it by 2. So that's how I got the 7. So I'm going to mark 7 here. And then from this line, I'm going to come down for the armhole, which is 9.5. And I got the 9.5 from dividing the total armhole, which is 19 by 2. So from there, I'm going to mark this way. And then the next thing I'm going to do is on this same line of the shoulder, I'll come down at 3, mark it at 3. And then from 3, I'm also going to make another mark here, making it 3 by 3, right? And then just curve, give it a curve like normal bodice. And then from here, on the first line that I made, I'm going to mark 1 inch here, as in 1 inch lengthwise. And then from here, I'm now going to mark it up here, just to give me the shoulder slant. So I'm going to connect it to this mark of 3 that I made here. So if you could see, this is the only mark that I have made here. And now I'm also going to make the curve for the armhole this way here. So now that I'm done with this upper part, the next thing I have to do is to check the shoulder to the bust, which is 10. So that will be this line. This will be my bust. I've gone ahead and marked the bust line. This one is the bust line, which is 10. That's from the shoulder to the bust. Then I've marked the waist, which is from the shoulder to the waistline, which is 17. That's this line. And then I also marked the hip line, which is 26, which is here. So I've marked the line. This is the hip, this is the waist, this is the bust, and then this is the shoulder. So from here now, what I have to check is what will be the full length of this top part of the dress before the part that where the flare is attached, and it's 30 that I'm working with. So with this 30, I'm going to add around 1 inch, which will be my seam allowance, half an inch here and half an inch at the end. So that will leave me with 31 inches. So I'm going to mark my 31 here, just to be sure. I'm going to be checking all the way here. So this is where I'm going to mark the length. What I have to do is to check the measurements. So the bust measurement I'm working with is 34. 34 divided by 4, that will be 8.5. 8.5 plus 1, that will be 9.5. So I'm going to mark it here. And then the next thing I'm going to be checking here, plus 1 is the plus 1 I'm giving it is for the seam allowance. And then I'll come to the waist. The waist I'm working with is 29. 29 divided by 4, that will give me 7.25, and then 7.25 plus extra 1 inch for my darting, that will be 8.25, and then plus another extra 1 inch, that will give me 9.25. So I'm going to mark it here. And then the next thing I'm going to mark here is my hip line, which my hip is 42 by 4. Each measurement is divided by 4. So 42 by 4 is 10.5, and 10.5 plus extra 1 inch, that will give me 11.5. That's for the seam allowance. So that's the end here. So now what I have to do is just to connect the lines that I have made. So I'm going to mark it from here down here, and then down here, and then down here at the end. I'm just going to connect the line here too. So now I'm just going to cut this shape out. So just to recap here, bust divided by 4 plus 1, waist divided by 4 plus 2, 1 inch for the dart and 1 inch for the seam allowance, hip divided by 4 plus 1, and then you connect everything. So now I'm going to cut it out and come back. So guys, I've gone ahead and traced out the front piece here. This is the front piece. So what I did to get the back piece was I folded the fabric the same way, right? And then I placed this the front on top of the fabric, and then gave it around 1.5 inch at the center back, and then traced out the front round all this way, and then also gave it like 1/2 inch for the back neckline. So now what I have to do is to go ahead and cut the bottom of this dress. So guys, I've folded the fabric into 2. So now I want to cut the bottom of the dress. So what I have to do is just to subtract the dress length. So what I have to do now is to subtract the shoulder, because I want to cut this flare here. So what I have to do now is to subtract the shoulder to the waist, the shoulder to the end, this part like below the butt, from the full length of the dress. So for me, the full length of the dress I'm working with is 64, and then the shoulder to the waist, this part is 30. So I'm going to subtract 64. I'm going to subtract 30 from 64. So that will be leaving me with 34. So 34 will be the length of this bottom part here, this bottom flare. And how I'm going to cut this 34, I'm going to add like 2 inches for the folding, and then just 2 inches extra. So that will give me 36. So after that, the next thing I have to check is around this part, like under the butt, just round. And what I have to work with is 40. So the 40 that I got for round under the butt, just below the hip, I'm going to divide it by 3.14, which is the constant. So now I'm going to mark around. So what I got after dividing it is 12.73. So I'm just going to pick this angle here and then mark my 4.73. So I'm just going to move this so you could see. So from here, the fabric is folded into 2, long enough to contain everything. So from here, I'm going to mark 12.72. So let's just say 12.75, which is here. And then I'm going to move it this way, 12.75. And then I'm going to keep moving it this way. And then 0.75 here, and then here. So now I'm going to connect all these lines here. And then from this point, the point down there, I'm going to now check for the full length of the dress. That will be the 36. And you know, I already 12.73, I added it to this 36, which will leave me with 48.7. But as you know, this fabric will not be able to contain 48.7 because this fabric runs only as 45. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut, and then after cutting, I'm going to mark the points where this 48 will fit in, and the part that doesn't fit in, I'm going to just go back, attach the fabric and cut it. So I'm just going to show you guys. So as you know, this fabric cuts by 45. So let's see. So 45 is what I have here. So this would not fit in. So I'm going to check where will my 48.7 fit in. So starting from here. So I'm now going to start marking from here. So from here, 48.7, that's almost 49. I'm going to move it and keep on marking it from here. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and cut the circle, right? This is like half a circle. But if you look closely, you'll see that down this part, it wasn't able to contain the whole length that I need. If I flip it this way, you will see it better. So from this angle, you'll see that this part here is not up to the length, right? It's not up to the length I need. So what I'm going to do now is just to get a piece of cloth here. I'm going to pick up a piece of cloth now and then attach it here and then trim it off. So I'm going to do that now. So guys, as you can see, this is the part that I was talking about, that I said I'll add extra piece of cloth just to match up the length on the other end. So now I'm going to pick up, and as you can see at the waist, I've cut out the first part that I marked. So now what I will do is to pick up this part of the cloth. So I picked up the other part of the cloth, I moved it to this end, and now you see the fabric that I added to this. See the rough end, just to show that I attached this piece. You see that if I fold it now, the end here matches up. It matches up to this end here, and now the end on this part matches up to the end here. So now the two sides are equal compared to how it was before. So what I have to do now is just to follow this line, this top part, and trace out this other pieces of cloth. So now I'm going to cut just to make sure everything is equal. I'm going to pull it down. Okay, now I can cut. So from here, pick it up and then cut as I go. So now this is out, and I have a full length of the bottom. And this same thing can work for when you want to make a long circle skirt and the fabric is by 45. What you have to do is just keep on cutting, and then when you're done, go back and attach a piece of cloth, fold it into two, and then trace out the remaining, like trace out the excess. So now that I've done this, I picked up the top part of the dress, I attached the sides, right? I just joined the sides so that I've not shaped the dress, like attached the dart and stuff. I just want to mark the shoulder, because you know it's one shoulder, and the shoulder is supposed to be on the right. So this is my right side, and this other shoulder I'm supposed to cut it out. So that's what I'll do now. This out, and I measured from the shoulder to just where the armpit, like the crest of the armpit starts, and that is supposed to be around 6 for me. So I marked 6 here, so here. And now what I have to do is to go from this shoulder here. If you remember, there was a mark that I made here for the 3 inches for the neckline. So what I have to do is just go from this same neckline. This is the mark, so I have to just go from this. This is the 6 inches, so I have to go from here and then go down to here. So now I'm going to cut that out and then make sure this traces right into the armpit on that side. So like that, I have one shoulder now to work with. And you know, as you're cutting even the back for the zip. You just cut everything as you go. And like that, this is one shoulder. So now what I have to do is to start shaping up the dress. I'm going to add that and then come back. See, I've gone ahead and finished up this dress, the top part of the dress. I've folded the ends, and then I also attached, I used like a piece of the fabric to act as the bias or interface. So that's what I used by the side. And then the back, I've also attached the zip. As you can see, I've attached the zip. So, but if you look closely on the picture, you'll find that this dress has has this thing on the shoulder. It has this like a belt or a tie on the shoulder. So this is what this is for. So I'm going to attach it right here on the shoulder, or I might even reduce it or just leave it the way it is, so that when you tie it, the length won't be so long. So look at how it is now. So this will be coming on top of here. I'll attach it this way, sideways. And then the next thing I'm going to do is also attach the bottom of this to this dress. So I'm going to do that and come back now. So guys, I've finished the dress. I've attached the belt, and then I've also attached the bottom here. So this might look short from here to here, but remember, it goes right below under the hip. So from there it flares out to the end. So I hope you enjoyed the video. So please feel free to like, share and subscribe. Bye.